Okay, colleagues, greetings and welcome back. Greetings from the beautiful city of Athens. Yassas apo tin Athena? I guess that's how you say it in Greek. How do you say colleagues? I think it's synadelphi. Synadelphi. Anyway, so this is going to be mostly just a short technical stream to double check that my connection is working. There's been a lot going on lately. I'm not sure, well, again, I hope it's not gonna affect most people who are going to be watching this, but especially many of my former students are in quite a lot of trouble because of politics. As somebody who has been teaching political philosophy for a number of years now, I don't like commenting on recent events, and I want to explicitly avoid making any statements right now relative pertinent to what goes on at this very moment. I think again the value of political philosophy is taking a step back and engaging in calm and measured reflection. Maybe in this respect it's also a very kind of instructive enterprise, instructive experience to move between Istanbul and Athens. Both beautiful cities, beautiful cosmopolitan cities, very hospitable cities. Cities to both of which I'm deeply grateful. But still, it's interesting. It's an interesting experience to move between the two cities, and because there has been a lot of history between the two countries over the centuries, I should say, especially in the 20th century. A lot of painful memories, and I guess philosophy, deep philosophy of history, thinking with Friedrich Nietzsche, with Georg Wilhelm Friedrich Hegel, with Karl Marx. It's a lot to unpack in what goes on. And I feel that what is very often lacking is deep appreciation of the complexities of the, again, intertwined complexities of the conflict, and again this very naive and I think very counterproductive tendency of the human mind to jump to conclusions, and especially this kind of moralistic tendency. When Nietzsche calls for revaluation of all values, I think that Nietzsche is very well aware that there are these persistent tendencies of the human mind, human nature, if you want, something that's not fashionable to talk about. And one of the most dangerous tendencies of the human mind is this moralizing, judgmental tendency, jumping towards easy, oversimplified, moralistic conclusions, seeing the world through this black and white lens. And the philosophical approach is to see complexity where other people see simplicity. And there's a lot of pain and complexity in the history between Athens and Istanbul, between Greece and Turkey. And there's a lot of complexity, in the relationship between many countries today. Some particular examples I'm having in mind right now, but let's not talk about current affairs. And there are philosophers such as Locke or Kant who, at least on the surface reading, do occupy this highly moralistic standpoint and talk about these demands of morality. And I think that in general, this tendency of human psyche is false and poisonous and is counterproductive. And, in a straightforward fashion, I think at least in the surface, most immediate interpretation, Kant and Locke are poison. And the antidote is, I mentioned Nietzsche, Hegel and Marx. Yeah, maybe that's a trio of names I can stick with for now. Something like that. It's getting late, and I've been trying to kind of being stuck between countries. I've been trying to kind of get back on track, but I feel constantly jet lagged. So this is again just mostly technical stream, just to double check that everything is working. Unfortunately, I was unable to stream from Turkey, but I've managed to upload a couple videos. Arthur says hi. Yeah, greetings, Arthur. I wonder what goes on right now. Well, philosophy as consolation, philosophy as medicine for the soul. I'm thinking of Buddha. The Buddha is my constant companion in these travels. And are people in distress right now? Well, Buddha teaches us that human condition is the condition of distress. Now, it's also true that there's a possibility of attaining enlightenment and tranquility inherent in human condition. So, some people would say that by nature of what we are always already Buddhas or Bodhisattvas, and we're always already we're always already calm and serene, and the task of human condition is to realize this serenity. But still, I feel that in these difficult times, philosophy should be a medicine for the soul again, and psychological practice, meditation. I talked about in one of my previous videos, probably the most recent video, but also philosophy in general, trying to understand what goes on and taking a critical distance from what goes on. Again, Nietzsche, Hegel, Marx, going back, these roots of Nietzschean and Marxist critique of society, going back, Athens, to this wonderful city. Socrates in Plato's dialogues, in dialogues with the sophists, people like Callicles, proto-Nietzsche, you could say, and Thrasymachus, proto-Marx, you could say, with some caveats. Again, this idea that when I talked about this moralistic tendency, yes, societies, between Aristotle and the sophists, between Hegel, who is this social conservative par excellence, and Marx and Nietzsche, who are social critics par excellence, right? Between the consensual side in Aristotle and Hegel, and the conflictual side in Callicles, Thrasymachus, but also in Marx and in Nietzsche. Philosophy should teach us to take a step back. Again, reflecting on the history. Let's not talk about the issues of the day. Let's take a step back, reflecting on this painful history between Athens and Greece. Between Greece and Turkey. Well, yeah, I mean, talk of the Peloponnesian War between Athens and Greece, between Athens and Sparta. Yes, this idea of how societies are necessary for human beings to thrive, but also, again, societies want to hijack certain propensities of our psyche, and how you need philosophy as self-defense, again, especially from these narratives that get spun, and these narratives which are very often clothed, shrouded in, communicated through precisely this kind of moralistic, black and white outlook. To do philosophy as to resist the temptation to jump to conclusions, especially the temptation to jump to these kind of moralistic, simplistic conclusions, and seeing the complexity of the world. Again, with somebody like Marx and Nietzsche, with Callicles and Thrasymachus, calling the dominant moralizing tendencies into question, again, calling the dominant values into question, reevaluation of values, the Nietzschean reevaluation of values. But also with Hegel and with Aristotle, realizing that some of these national myths and values, even though they may be invented at the end of the day, or invented, socially constructed, they do serve a certain function. Complicated question, interesting stories. Anyway, again, the purpose of this was mostly just to test the my connection and all the rest of it. Hopefully it's working well. Anyway, colleagues, until next time, stay safe and take care. And in the meantime, if you're hungry for more videos, feel free to, browse the channel. It's when I started the channel, I felt this great sense of urgency to get some of the things out before I forget them. I feel, I feel I've gotten out most of the things I had at the top of my head. Now there's work to be done ahead. Let's hope it's going to be a productive exercise. Anyway, once again, stay safe and take care. I gotta learn, how do you say take care in Greek? Well, let's say, it's night, so I could say kali nichta, or I could say kali synechia.